Hey guys, Owlvine here. This week on Starting Out Solitary, we're talking prosperity and money magic. So this week's question is, money and prosperity magic. How do you do it, if you do, and what are your rules concerning it? I have done prosperity and abundance workings before. I have done a working for money, but it was joined with a job spell that I was doing. So I was, creating the pathway for the money to come in, and then within that spell work, I set how much I wanted that amount to be, at least, or more, or whatever. So I haven't done any specific money magic spells other than that. When I do money magic, I tend to focus more on the prosperity and abundance side. So instead of asking specifically for money, what I'm doing is asking for the things that I want from money anyway, if that makes sense. So, because money is just like, it's a trade note. Like, it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't do anything. You can swap it for stuff that actually is helpful or gives you, it's not the money itself we want, it's the things that we can get with money, the things that money means. So that's more what I focus on personally when I do money magic. Something I've heard recently, I've heard quite a few warnings around money magic. People just saying, you need to be careful when you're doing money magic, because if you ask for a certain amount of money and you don't have pathways open, magic works and it will come through, and sometimes there can be unpleasant side effects. So for example, the example I heard was this woman who had done a spell for money, and I can't remember if she asked for a specific amount or if it was just, finance in general. And she got it. She got what she asked for, but her aunt died and she inherited the money. So she was upset about that, obviously. So I think that one of my rules, I suppose, around money magic is to have open pathways. I feel like it's not necessarily true, but I think that oftentimes magic will work through the path of least resistance. Does that make sense? So, for example, if you have a job and if you are working really hard and you are adding value to your workplace, and there's some kind of bonus that comes in, or there's a promotion or something which means more money, like that will probably be something that happens. You know what I mean? Like, that's an easy path for magic to take for you. Oh, and you got the raise and whatever. Whereas if you don't have anything kind of open like that, like if your job can't go anywhere else, or if whatever, then magic will find a way, but sometimes it will be in a way that we don't expect. In fact, oftentimes I feel like it's in ways we don't expect. But so some people like to, when they are doing their spells, say, and it harm none at the end, so that they're, when they gather, they welcome in what they want, but they don't want to do harm to others, and they state that fact. And what I do when I have done this in the past is just kind of, I journal about it beforehand. I write about it, I think about different variables, and I go to it when I journal, I go to the journaling in a very meditative state, and in a state of alignment and wanting to hear what it is that I'm going to pour into that magic. Does that make sense? So, I may ask my deity to help guide me in the session, or, Earth's energies or the universe or whatever, so that I may see any variables that need to be tweaked or looked at, wording needs to be around them or whatever. And I mean, I approach my magic very intuitively, so that's how I do it. I don't want anyone to be fearful because of the examples that I've given, because of the example I gave of someone who had a negative experience. I mean, I haven't been in this for very long, but in my opinion, and so far in my experience, if you approach what you're doing with love and with pure intention, that's what you get back. That may not be the case. There may be other people who have had different experiences to that, but for me, that's how it's always been, you know, like I'm approaching magic with reverence and with respect and with love, and ultimately for my highest good. So I make sure I, you know, always hold that energy while I'm doing spell work, and so far I haven't had, that I know of, any negative effects that have come. You know, no one's been harmed because of anything I've been doing. Yeah, it's an interesting topic, just bringing that other side into it, I think. But yeah, the way I do it is very intuitive. I don't necessarily always journal first, but I find it helps with focus, and sometimes helps me kind of work through different things that I want, really, you know, kind of get down to that absolute, like, what do I really want, and go from there. And I think it really helps when you're in alignment like that as well, when you are doing spell casting, because it enables you to receive what it is that you really truly want, because oftentimes we'll ask for something, but it's something else we really want. So for example, with money, we may ask for a certain amount of money, or we may ask for money in general. We want money, but what we really want may be a feeling of security that money brings, or it may be some new spell item, some new crafting items, or you know whatever. So it's probably not actually money you want, it's probably some other thing. So sometimes it's helpful to be aware of that, and you know, sometimes we can do spell work directly for that thing instead, or yeah, just work it out, you know, just kind of see what's going on, see the plane, and do spell work accordingly. We've kind of tapered off into a bit of a ramble here, so I will leave it at that. I would love to hear how you do money magic, if you do, or prosperity and abundance, spell crafting, and you can tell me about what tools you use if you would like to, if you have any kind of guidelines that you follow around this as well. That would be very cool to hear. I wish you all so much love, and I will see you next week on Starting Out Solitary. Many blessings.